In this session, we're going to be talking about Yoast SEO. SEO stands for Search Engine Optimization, and we're going to be applying it to this article today. Before we actually look at the mechanics of Yoast SEO, let's quickly look at the article. We have our title here, Understanding Food Label Dates, and then our H2 header here is Understanding what Food Label Dates really mean. Here's a tagline. Here is a picture with a caption. We have a couple of paragraphs, another H2 header, a bulleted list, another H2 header. We have a pull quote here on the right and some other text before we finish. There are about 300 words between each of these H2 headers. We'll go to Edit Page next to look at the page in draft form. And here we are. That's that same content that we saw before. Keep in mind this permalink. We'll be talking about that in a second. And here's the same content, followed by Yoast SEO just below the dialog box for the page. To the left here are 3 tabs for Yoast SEO. We're going to spend most of our time on this first tab, which will involve readability and the focus key phrase. However, before we begin this one, let's look at the other 2 tabs. This one is the social media tab. It really only works with Facebook and Twitter. What this Facebook section does is allows you to override the defaults and add customized titles, descriptions, and images to a Facebook post if you are posting a page or a post from WordPress onto Facebook. So you can override the existing title with the Facebook title here, the existing WordPress meta description with this Facebook description here. You can also upload an image for Facebook that might be different from the image that appears by default, which would be either the featured image or in most cases, simply the first image of your article. So that's the Facebook bit, and the Twitter tab here gives you the exact same options. A Twitter title to override the default WordPress title, a Twitter description to override the WordPress description, and a Twitter image to override the default image shown in WordPress. Let's go down to the bottom tab, the Settings tab next. This first option allows you to turn on or off having search engines show this page in search results. By default, that will be set to yes, and in the vast majority of cases, you want that to be yes. Should they follow links on this page, again, default would be yes, but you can change it to no. And by default, they are allowing robots on this page to scan the page. If you want to change your options here on Meta Robots, simply click within the box and you'll get your other options. None is what the default is. You can also do no image index, nor archive, and no snippet. And we'll talk about snippets in just a second, which leads us back to the readability and focus key phrase section of Yoast SEO. So this content analysis and optimization traffic light contains 3 sections. You've got the snippet preview, the readability analysis, and the focus key phrase. Let's start out with a snippet preview, and what we're going to do is go directly to Edit Snippet. The SEO title is right here. SEO again stands for Search Engine Optimization, and here are the elements of it, though when we look at the preview, we see and they're not this exact order. There is the article title, the page title, the page, a separator, and then the meta description. If you want to add variables to here, you can use the plus and add things such as primary category, another separator, and that's pretty much it. The slug is important. The slug is the second half of the URL up in the permalink. You can change it down here. You can also, however, change it up here in the permalink. Now our title is Understanding Food Label Dates. In most cases, WordPress does a really good job of translating a title to a slug. In this case, Understanding Food Label Dates is the exact title with simply hyphens taken out. You can, however, go in and edit this simply by clicking Edit. You can take out unnecessary words, articles, and just pare it down to its essence. And then click OK to change it. If you have any links to this page, they'll automatically update in WordPress. And it's important that our title and our slug both contain the same basic idea, and that idea is continued on down through the rest of the page. Let's continue on. We'll see how Yoast helps us with this. Here's the meta description, which simply tells the end user what is in the article. Often this appears when people are finding your page in a search result. So that's it for the snippet editor. I'll close it and go to the readability analysis. It's found a couple of minor problems with the writing here. It's saying that around 30% of the sentences contain the passive voice, which is more than recommended maximum of 10. So you probably want to go up there and avoid passive verbs like was, is, be, are, and use active verbs like buy, dent, sell, damage, that kind of thing. 26.5% of the sentences contain more than 20 words. They recommend a max of 25. So while we're only off by 1.5%, I might want to go in there and cut a couple sentences down into 2 sentences. What it likes is that the reading ease is fine. There's enough variety in the sentences. The subheading distribution, they like, again, I'm trying to distribute them about every 300 words or so. Paragraph links are fine, and our transition words are fine. So that's readability. Now comes my favorite part, the focus key phrase. So in the focus key phrase section, this is where you start, putting in your focus key phrase, a word or a short set of words that most accurately, succinctly describe what's going on in your post or your page. Now, this isn't there so much to be used as a keyword so that Google can see the keyword and know what your content is. Keywords used to be important in web design for Google and other search engines, but now Google and these other search engines look at content directly. So what you're trying to do with this focus key phrase is find the focus of your article and see how well the rest of your article adheres to that. And Yoast SEO does a pretty good job at figuring out if the focus key phrase you're putting in here is being carried on through the rest of the content in the article. Let's look at our results. It's telling us some very good advice here. There are no internal links in this page, so you need to always try to link to other pages within your site when you're writing a post or a page to get people to click deeper into your site. It says the key phrase is not in our introduction, that we don't have the key phrase in the first paragraph. I think that's strictly true, but we have food label dates in our title, in our slug, in our H2 header, and in our first sentence of our first paragraph. I think what Yoast is referring to here is our little tagline here to get the end user interested in the article does not have the phrase food label dates. So we could cut this tagline and align with what Yoast SEO is telling us to do. I think I'll keep the tagline in. It finds the meta description link to be a little bit too short, so I might want to add another sentence or so here. The key phrase is in the title, it says here, but not at the beginning. And if we look at this again, we'll see that they're telling us that the word understanding is before the word food label dates. So you could rejigger this so it says food label dates and their importance or something like that. I think understanding food label dates will suffice. So let's go back down. It's liking the rest of what it sees. Outbound links we did a good job with. Our key phrase length, it did a good job with. The keyword density is 0.5%, which it's fond of. The keyword shows up in our meta description. It's never been previously used before. It's in 2 of our 3 subheadings. It is in our image alt text for text-to-speech browsers. It finds that our text length is good, just under 600 words, that our SEO title width is good, and that the key phrase is in our slug. So as you can see, putting in the food label dates key phrase and whatever key phrase you use when you're writing your own posts or pages really helps you narrow and focus the content of your page. And that is how to work with SEO Yoast.